Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor for this special broadcast on a Saturday. The market is about to turn green, no doubt about it. We'll be up again today. Let me explain exactly what's happening. The Ayatollah of Iran confirmed to be dead. The moment that happened, crypto started to surge. You saw that in my title, which I posted an hour or so ago. Had a bit of information from the White House. I shared it. Sensei even said to me, why put that in the title? Well, I did. It was in the title, and crypto is surging, or at least starting to surge. The news is just getting out. I had a nice little tip-off, a nice text from the White House telling me what was about to be announced. It's now official. The Ayatollah of Iran is dead. Let me tell you exactly what I'm expecting from the markets, what I'm going to do with all of this, how I'm going to win, how you're going to win, and let's just retrace. It all started with this.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
There we go. Now then, we're going to give you all the news of the day, and this is how it all started now. About an hour ago, I posted this event, and I had a text from my White House press room contact confirming to me what you've now just found out, that the Ayatollah is dead. And I announced in the title of this video, crypto to surge. Well, it has. You can see over this last few hours, you can see how it is in fact surging. It's not booming yet, but it is up. So you may have, that's in the title now, you may have read that and noticed that. So what happens now? Where do we go from here? A few moments ago, I sold some of my Ethereum. I told my Electrum members, so would you please fact check me, because we get lots of people who like to discredit the channel. Please, if you did see my post on Electrum and YouTube Electrum, and of course in Discord where I place all my trades, I don't do them live on the air unless there's it happens live, of course. Put in the chat, yes, you saw it. I told you I'd sold my lower lots on Ethereum. Small profit, but the reason for doing that was to put some buying power back in my account. I've now got nearly $5,000 to spend again. Does that mean I think XRP and Bitcoin is going to carry on rallying? Maybe, but I would like to take some money off the table because it could drop down just as quickly. What did we learn the other day from our very own research, months in the making, that was shared in our newsletter? Sensei put together an amazing newsletter. We learned about the corruption in crypto. As we talk about it, it's starting to go down again. This is why I took profit from Ethereum and I shared it all. Yes, you all saw it. Great, fantastic. I do not want to be overexposed in crypto. I will make money from it. We always make money from it, but we're not going to be overexposed to it. A lot of people are going to play around with it now. It's going to move violently up and violently down. And as far as I care, as long as I'm making money and not losing money, that's where I sit right now. And my money, as we preempted these strikes, is placed in the least deflationary and least macro condition stocks. You've all seen me do it. I told you, de-risk, sell the S&P. I sold the S&P. If you know I said that and you saw me do it live on the show, say yes in the chat. I sold the S&P, and where did I go? To the most profitable, most high cash flow businesses, the most resistant to inflation, because inflation is peaking, and also the most resistant to macro conditions. Where did I go? You all know, and you know the answer. And if you knew this and you've been watching the show, please say yes in the chat. You saw me go 100% just about into Google. Ever since I've done that, it's been moving up. If you saw me say Google was the best of the Mag 7, the least inflationary receptive, and a great cash flow business, I know the inside of Google, because Google own YouTube, and I can see when ad revenue goes up. I can see who is advertising with Google. I can see it. I'm on YouTube. I can see it's called the CPM, cost per thousand. I know when businesses are investing with Google on advertisement. How do I know? Because I'm on YouTube. So I bought with conviction, and the ladies of Texas also, you know, those ladies I deal with. 246 grand on my main account, another 50 grand on my Roth IRA, over 300 grand. I bought with conviction. And are we up? Yes, we're up. What about Nvidia? Well, I also bought Nvidia. This is a problem solver. This is where you want to be, least affected by macro conditions of what we knew was likely to happen. We've been talking about this war for a while. Now it's happened. The market has been going down because it expected the war to break out this weekend. What did I do? Did I sell for a loss on the way down? No, I kept buying more, didn't I? Well, now I've got another $4,500, $5,000. I can buy some more when the markets open on Sunday night. And of course, I'll be there. How much have I bought? $40,000. Are we down on it? Yes, because it was falling down. Do I care? No. Do I heckers like? These are the businesses to be in for me. As you can see, crypto is now selling again, and I've just sold Ethereum, taken profit. I've now got money to buy it back. I gave you the tip off. I had my text from the White House telling you crypto would surge. It did. Well, a few percent anyway. Right on that news, right at the moment I posted the event. It did. I told you I would sell. I sold. It was posted on our Discord and Electrum. Now, if you want to be part of our Electrum service, there is YouTube Electrum. It never goes up in price. There's no inflation. All my trades are there, and they are all wins. Now then, if you watched my post, you will know there were 2 lots. So let's change our trades. Another 2 trades and another 2 wins. 196 trades and now 191 wins. Post it. There you go. You all saw it. You verified it. Everyone knows it to be true. Okay, now then, what happens next? Let's pick up all our news around the world. The Straits of Hormuz have been closed. That will affect certain businesses. Won't affect Google. I doubt very much it'll affect Nvidia. All right? But it will affect a lot of businesses. Let me bring you the latest news and then we'll go to the live feeds and we'll be here all afternoon for you, bringing everything live, okay? So Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says in a televised address that signs are growing. This was just a few moments ago. It's now confirmed that the Ayatollah is dead. He is. The US military reports no American casualties and minimal damage for so far in hundreds of Iranian missiles and drone attacks. This is correct. More than 200 people have been killed across Iran by Israel US strikes, Iran state TV report citing the Red Crescent. The death toll from the strike that hit a school in southern Iran has risen to 85 people, an official says on Iranian state TV. The Iranian foreign minister tells NBC News that the country's supreme leader and president are alive as far as I know. This is incorrect. Iran is spreading false information. We now have it confirmed. It was included in my text from the White House that he is indeed dead. And I told you crypto would surge, and it did. Saudi Arabia say Iran launched a blatant and cowardly attack on Riyadh, an eastern region that it repelled. Key European leaders call for a resumption of US-Iran negotiations, warn Iran against indiscriminate strikes. World leaders reacted warily to US and Israeli strikes on Iran that sowed concerns of a broader conflict. Russia's foreign minister condemns Russia's foreign ministry condemns US-Israel strikes on Iran as a pre-planned and unprovoked act of armed aggression. Could anybody care less what that bloody idiot says? Of course not. Russia is constantly attacking for no reason, trying to take Ukraine. Does anyone care what Russia has to say? I certainly don't. The US and Israelis' attack on Iran led to commercial flights disruption on Saturday across the Middle East and beyond as regional airspaces began closing and tens of thousands of travelers around the globe were stranded. Okay, I'm going to go to live news in a minute. I just wanted to bring you all of this first. Okay, let's do our research with reading important verified facts. Oil markets bracing for volatility. I don't like oil. Stephen Lewandowski here does, but it's not for me. I am not going to be investing in oil. It doesn't interest me at all. Expect huge volatility. Essentially what we do here on the show, you buy at $50 a barrel and sell at 90. Ask Stephen Lewandowski, does it over and over again after the US-Israel attacks on Iran. Now again, Google and Nvidia will be least affected by this. So we sold the S&P. We told you why. It was expensive. I told you I'm now going to go into less inflation stocks. I bought Google, then Nvidia and Coca-Cola, and I was right. I made money on Coca-Cola. I'm making money on Google now, and on Monday morning, I'll make a lot of money on Nvidia. I'm very sure of that. I'll buy some more as well if it's down lower than where I bought before. I told you, and you can confirm in the chat for me, yes or no, please, in the chat. Did I say we'd only get 1 or 2 rate cuts in 2026? I told you that a year ago, and anyone now argues against that is basically talking nonsense, and it's very obvious now we're only going to get 1 or 2 rate cuts this year. If you remember me saying that, say yes. So where do you want to be? You want to be in cash risk tech stocks. Why? Because they make money from the interest rates being high. They don't care about inflation. So who do you want to be with? Google and Nvidia. Where am I? With Google and Nvidia. I don't want to be in oil stocks. I know oil affects everything, but I don't want to be in oil. That's speculative once again. I did have this information just sent to me a few moments ago, and this is insurers mull price hikes for ships in the Gulf and Strait of Hormuz. This has now been confirmed, and insurers are now hiking insurance. Why is this? Well, the Straits of Hormuz has been closed, and it's a very dangerous area. That will affect shipping around the world. That's a big deal if you've got physical items being moved around. Will not affect Nvidia very much because most of their orders are already in situ, and Google, it doesn't really affect them. They're a tech play. Of course, everything gets affected by everything. I'm not trying to say it doesn't. It certainly does, but it gets affected less. Okay, so I've asked you in our community pages to please vote in our poll, red or green market open. Now, we have seen crypto rallying over the last hour or so. Does that mean we're going to have a green day on Monday? I don't expect so. Even though we have had the Ayatollah taken out, now the country is destabilized. It's regime change. The market has to react and reprice and then rebound. I am hoping to see the market drop quickly, so technically red, to buy more of Nvidia, and that's why I've sold and taken profit from Ethereum, and this is why I like to have crypto over the weekend, not just ETFs. It's why I don't put it on a wallet. I like to be able to trade macro conditions. I've broken this down before. And then I can buy Nvidia and it will pop. That's what I'm expecting to happen. I will share my trades, of course, with you on Electrum and Discord. If you want all my trades, I never lose. These are my trades. There is YouTube. Join Electrum. It will never go up in price, no inflation, and it starts from $2 a month. If you want Discord, I provide one-on-one service. One-on-one service. There will be a special event. We don't have events on Saturday, but there will be a special event right after this live stream on Discord, answering all of your questions, one-on-one support, video link up with my Discord private members. If you'd like that, join me. I'll be live right after this. Okay, so there will be no price increases ever, no inflation ever, and it's 90% discount. You can get Discord from $2.99. We now have a whole community. We have a gaming page, we have fun, we have training, we have all kinds of wonderful things, special guests, live one-on-one services, and my trades 24/7. You would have known that I knew crypto was about to go up. You would have known that. You would have known that I was selling Ethereum because it was all posted there, and you'd know all my trades, and I never lose. Okay, so I'm asking you to vote in this poll, red or green on the open tomorrow. Let's have a look what you say. Let me go see down here. Right, 145 votes. You are saying red. I think you are right at first, but then we will rebound, in my opinion. Well, it depends what you're in, of course. If you're in inflation stocks, you're down. If you're in crypto, you could be down. If you're in oil, you could be all over the place, up and down every 5 minutes. If you are in stocks that are redundant to or relying on oil, you could be down. But this is my position. I told you I'd be green. It was announced in the video 1 hour before I went live. I painted the studio green. I told you I'd be up. I told you it would surge. My White House press room contact has never, ever let me down. My Bank of America contact, my Robinhood contact, and a couple of friends now I have at Ripple and Coca-Cola have never let me down. Follow the money, talk to the people with the finger on the button, and it never, ever lets you down. Follow the money. It never lets you down. There we go. I made the call live on this show. It would be green. I announced it, said it would surge in the title 1 hour before we went on air. Did I just get lucky? Did I guess? No. I get lucky every time. I guess right every time. If that's the case, there's my trades. The only few times I lost, 5, was to show you what not to do. And if you remember me doing that, put yes in the chat, because there'll be people going, he never said that. He just loses all the time. So if you want to say, if you knew why I lost, and I showed you why I lost, I did a tax loss on purpose it was on Virgin Galactic when I showed you that you can't move the market. If you know all this to be true, say yes in the chat. All right, so there we go. We are green, we're up. Prediction right again. Now then, let me go into, and I will onboard people who join Discord today. So if you do it, there'll be a live Q&A at the end. Let me now go through some news breaking around the world. I'd like to say, and this is absolutely disgusting if you think about it, and why I'm very proud of my team. Sensei will be live later. Vaz was live this morning. I'm doing it now. The financial news channels, Bloomberg and CNBC, where are they? They're on a break. They're always taking breaks throughout the week, and they're always sitting on their asses. We go live. It's my day off. I've had to give my wife a big ton of money today to go out for the day and have a nice time. I said, I'm going to go live all day. She says, no, you're bloody not. I said, there you go, babe. There's some money. Go out and have a nice time. So I literally had to pay my wife today more money than I can afford to go out and have a wonderful time so I could cover this event. We're always there for you when we are needed. So let's go and let's start picking up our news. This is all coming to you live. Let's get straight into it. Here we go.
These claims, and also a spokesperson earlier
Tap
telling
the like button, please.
That Ali Khamenei, as well as the Iranian president, were effectively alive and well, that they had not been in that compound when it was attacked at the very start of this war. But were Ali Khamenei to have been killed, then the consequences of that are again hard to predict. He is a man who's been in power for such a long time, but there is a possibility that his successor has already been identified. There is a process for selecting the successor to an Ayatollah, but he will have had his own feelings on who should succeed him. At the age of 85, it would have been clear to him that he did not have a long reign ahead of him. But this is the person who has inspired and led Iran, whose invective, whose opinions have framed the policy of Iran for so long. If he is dead, then Iran will have lost its Ayatollah, and Israel and the United States will consider that to be a huge step towards overall regime change. But as we know so often in conflicts like this, information can be warped, morphed, comments can be misunderstood, and indeed stories can be used as propaganda. So I think it's important that we are aware that these claims are being made. It is also important that we wait for further verification before jumping to any conclusions. Potentially a highly significant moment, though.
Absolutely right. Adam in Jerusalem for the moment. Thank you. Let's go to Washington, bring in our US correspondent, Mark Stone. Mark, I'm assuming no word about Ali Khamenei from the administration yet, but we are hearing that they believe there were indicators that Iran could preemptively strike, so the US took action first.
Yes, we've had quite a detailed briefing by a senior Trump administration official in the last half an hour, which I'll read you a few lines from it. This official said that the United States was offered Iran many ways to have a civil, peaceful nuclear program, but that was met, so the official says, with games and tricks. US negotiators Witkoff and Kushner, who we know were in Geneva, determined that it was clear that Iran wanted to preserve enrichment ability in order for a weapons program later. Iran's plan to address the United States' demand on enrichment was to allow them to build their own centrifuges. Effectively, this administration official is saying that the president had no choice. We went with very blunt asks of the Iranians, and the Iranians did not play ball. Iran had also refused, so this official says, to address the issue of Tehran's support for proxy forces. I think that's an interesting point because remember, what's different this time compared with the attack last summer, and indeed going back years, that there's a material difference on the ground, in the landscape of the Middle East. The proxy forces, the sort of Shia Crescent as it became known, where Iran had militia forces, proxy forces in Syria, in Lebanon, in Gaza, in Yemen as well. They have been degraded so much that I think that partially explains what people describe as this opportunity that Netanyahu and that Trump now had, because the regional threat from Iran through proxies is not there. And yet the administration official says here that Iran had refused to address the issue of support for proxy forces. So a suggestion there that the Americans certainly would argue that these forces are still somewhat intact, although, as we've seen over the course of today, there hasn't been much in terms of retaliation from those forces. The official says, and this is a quote, "If we sat back and wanted to get hit first, the amount of casualties and damage would be substantially higher." So a justification through an administration official for what we are seeing unfolding.
Please tap the like button. We aim to provide the most honest, real service ahead of anyone, and we always get it done and always deliver.
Yes, there may be casualties, but they argue if we had stood back and not done anything, the threat from Iran, the casualties would have been far, far greater.
Let's get to 112,000 right now, folks.
I would say
thank you.
That there are, Iran watchers who will say that, yes, Iran was a regional threat. We know its malign influence across the region has stretched back decades. But Trump's suggestion that it's somehow an intercontinental threat, that it has missiles already that are capable of hitting Europe and potentially the United States, that, some would argue, is a stretch. But Trump's argument is, well, maybe it's a stretch now, but they could do it in the future, and we have now removed the threat. But on your initial question of any suggestion from the Americans that the man on the screen there is dead, well, we have had nothing from them yet.
OK, Mark, for the moment, thank you very much. Well, the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, spoke a little earlier this evening. Let's have a listen.
The citizens of Israel. This morning, the United States and Israel went to
We'll have live Q&A, live phone-ins. Please stand by. We'll discuss crypto, we'll discuss the markets, everything for you, plus much more.
This fateful campaign will continue as long as it is needed, but you need to really be resilient and strong. I would like to thank the President Trump for his historical leadership. I spoke with him again this morning, and I would like to thank him and bless him for this close collaboration. It has truly reached the record of all times, an alliance in peace and in war. And this war will bring about true peace. For 47 years, the Ayatollah regime has been calling out for death to Israel, for death for the Americans, and it has brought about the deaths of many Americans and Israelis. Everyone knows that such a murderous regime should have nuclear weapons that can continue threatening the entire humankind, and of course us as well. We started in order to end this threat completely. On the second day of that war for our revival, we said we would change the Middle East. We did it, and the rising lion, and now we will do so even more so with the roar of the lion war. This morning, with a surprising
If you are joining Discord, I will onboard you all now. Go and choose your plan. You only have a few minutes to choose your plan. Otherwise, you're kicked from the service. It's a premium service.
With proxies, and has made his people miserable, and continue talking about the extermination of the state of Israel. This plan and program no longer exists. This tyrant no longer exists. We targeted those at the head of the leadership of the Brotherhood of the Revolutionary Guard and all his general staff and others. We would like to thank the brave Iranian people that they are being freed of those horrific ties with that regime. This is an opportunity do something. Do not sit with your arms crossed, because this moment will come and you will be demanded to go out to the streets in the masses, because you have to complete this work and you have to bring down and eradicate this regime. Your suffering and your sacrifice will not be in vain. We promised you the help, and the help has arrived. And now the time has come to reunite all of you, all the Persians, the Kurds, the Baluchim, the Iranians. The time has come to unify yourselves and to truly topple this regime and ensure your future. Dear Israeli citizens, during the entire war, I watched your resilience. You did not fall into those traps of depression. On the contrary, you stood tall and you gave backing to the government, to the heroes fighting, and to me in order to lead that struggle for our existence. That is exactly how a people of lions fight. Over the next few days, we will still need to stand steadfast and adhere to all the demands and all the instructions of the Home Front Command. There's tremendous symbolism that today is Purim, the 11th day of Adar. Yosef Trumpelbor fell at the Tel Hai battle. His heritage, his heroism is burning within us. At the monument in the panhandle of the Galilee, you can see the roaring lions monument. For many times, I always visited there and looked at that monument, and I always saw you, our people, us, the entire nation of Israel. And with the help of God, that roar of the lion, of our soldiers and our pilots will be heard throughout the world. And today, more than ever, the entire world knows Am Israel Chai, the people of Israel live.
There we go. We're going to go to live Q&A.
Also...
We've got much more to bring you. We're going to go to multiple sources around the world. They are green. I made the prediction an hour before I came on air. I put in the chat we would be up. Crypto would surge. I had a tip from the White House, my press room White House contact, and it was right. And you can see, and I trimmed my Ethereum. I sold some. I told you I would on Electrum and Discord. Now, I've just had many people just apply to join Discord. We only allow a couple of people in a day. It's a premium service. It's just for investors. It's not for scammers and trolls and bots. It's all live. I go in there live myself every day and do live support one-on-one. We haven't got time to mess around with idiots. If you have been approved right now, you have a few minutes and a few minutes alone to upgrade your service. It's from a couple of bucks a month. If you use Pro, most people now have upgraded to Pro. You get a 24-hour service. You get lots of great content. You get all of my trades 24 hours a day, one-on-one service, stage events a day. We've got a gaming channel where we have fun and we give away Luca coins. It's the beginning of the Luca crypto coin. We have the Luca coin. You can win in all kinds of games. We have quizzes. We have chart information. We have so much stuff involved in Electrum. Sorry, in Discord. And a great community. So if you want to be part of it, you have a few minutes. If you want the link, here it is. If you've been approved, then you have a few minutes to accept which role you want. If you don't choose a role, you get kicked from the server. That's the term that Discord use. Doesn't mean to be rude. It's just what it's called. We don't have anyone on the server who is not a active member as a subscriber. Now, once you've done that, you need to then send me a friend request so you're protected, because the first thing you'll do is get bombarded by fake and scammers. So please don't do that. Don't accept a friend request from anyone that isn't a friend of mine, and I won't ever send you a friend request or a message. Send me a friend request, I'll accept it, but I only accept those who are active members on the server. Okay? Right, let's carry on. We've got more news coming from different places. I want to first of all see how you're reacting. let's go. As you can see now, we're starting to sell off in crypto. Now you know why I took some profit. Okay, let me go to some more news sources. I'm getting... I've got this is our official statement that the Ayatollah is dead. Remember, this does not mean this is why crypto moved on this news, and it moved an hour before you were aware of it. And I told you because I had the contact, right? It's not what you know, it's who you know. Right? Okay, that is still coming out of the different sources, but we know it's been confirmed that he has died. All right. Okay, but that again doesn't mean to say the market is going to be stable. It's not at all, not at all. Okay, right. I've got a lot more news I want to bring to you. So I want to see if Trump has reposted something. No, he hasn't. He's been quite quiet. We're waiting for another official statement from Trump, but that's not coming yet. I've got this. I don't want to use that. That's a little bit behind. I've got this from Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is very, very useful for me. I find a lot of useful information here. Let me bring this live.
Nation united.
This is coming now live from Al Jazeera. Let's see what they have to say.
Tawhid Asadi, you're in Tehran. Now, we have seen Iran just in the last few moments launch volleys of missiles at both Qatar and Israel. What do you know on your end?
The latest lines are coming from IRGC, coming out in a statement.
I apologize, I had no sound.
Continuation of what they called
Let me just apologize a moment. Sorry about that.
3 and 4, and on that they are saying, and I'm quoting the statement that
I am so sorry. I was muted there for a few moments. Let me apologize. How long was I muted for? No sound. How long? Call-in link, please. I think Sensei would like to join us. How long was I muted for? Oh dear, I was muted for quite a while. I apologize. You may have heard a lot of background noise. The gardener was here, so I muted the microphone and I didn't turn it back on again. I apologize for that. I don't know what you missed. Can I have the call-in link, please? You certainly can, Sensei. Sensei, it looks like Sensei would like to call in, of course. There we go. Sensei, I'm going to go back to... I'm so sorry that I lost audio, but we are back. Let me bring this. I think we're going to have Sensei calling in.
Of the Iranian retaliatory response for the hours down the road.
All right, Tawhid, thank you very much. Let me bring it in now to the studio. Ali Hashem has joined us. Ali, thank you very much. It is late here, but we need your expertise. Look, in the last few moments, we have seen missiles fired at Israel, not just fired. At least one has hit Tel Aviv. We also saw volleys of missiles fired at Qatar. So that's 66 total for the day. We've never seen this. The region has never seen this.
Well, in fact, what the Iranians are trying to reflect right now is that there is a high price for the war on them. So it's going to be a regional war.
Sensei, can you look in Discord, please?
To say, and it's what...
Ali, respectfully, let me jump in. Sorry, we have the UN Secretary General who's speaking at the headquarters in New York. Antonio Gutierrez, let's listen in.
For the maintenance of international peace and security. Article 2nd of the Charter clearly states, all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. International law and international humanitarian law must always be respected. That is why, since this morning, I have condemned the massive military strikes by the United States and Israel against Iran. And I also condemned the subsequent attacks by Iran, violating the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Bahrain, Iraq, Jordan,
I've got to
Kuwait,
break in.
Qatar,
we have breaking
Saudi
news.
Arabia, and
We have
United
breaking
Arab
news
Emirates.
directly from
We are
Sensei,
witnessing
who,
a grave
as you know,
threat to
is from
international peace
Iran.
and
He has family in Iran. He now lives in the UK, of course. But Sensei is from Iran, has family there. So, we always want to speak, especially with Sensei in these very sensitive matters. So we do have Sensei on the call. He's not in his studio, I believe. He's away from his studio, but he wanted to share something with you. This is breaking news from Sensei. So let me bring in Sensei right now. Sensei, welcome to the show. It's lovely to have you here. Let me first of all start by offering my love, support to you as my best friend with what you must be going through right now. This is your country under attack, and you have family and friends there, and I can only imagine what you must feel like, because I would be beside myself if England was under attack and being bombed. I don't know how I would feel. So Sensei, thank you for being here. I can see you're away from the studio, and please talk to me.
Well, thank you. First of all, I hope to be able to comment personally on the situation soon. For now, I do have some. I firstly apologize. I'm actually away from the studio, so I do apologize for that. But I thought this breaking news is worth bringing to you. I've just had multiple sources come to me and say we've got information now that there's going to be a big attack from the US and Israel on Iran imminently. We do have that information coming through. Again, look, these are sources coming to me. I cannot verify 100%, but it does look like a very high likelihood that any moment now we get a military operation from Israel and the US on Iran. So we'll keep an eye out for that, but that's just coming to me from my sources.
So it's going to escalate, isn't it?
It does seem like that. Let's see if this is the final blow or if it's going to... we have seen a lot of the Iranian missile launchers be hit. They don't have that many. They've got plenty of missiles, but if they don't have the launchers, then we can see the degree of launches from Iran slow down. We've just, in the last 20 minutes, saw a big launch from Iran towards Israel and neighboring regions, US bases potentially as well. That is now underway. We've seen a few get through the Iron Dome, but now we're looking at imminently a big attack from US and Israel.
I was hearing this morning when I was preparing for this show that there would be a quite strong slap from the US, which they did. It was a big attack, but it wasn't as big as the US can do, in the hope that would be enough to bring Iran to the table. Iran have chose now, obviously, to fight back and do their thing. And what I heard was, if they did that, and they've done that, then there's a potential for a complete annihilation. Trump is on the edge and wants to do that. Now, the last time we saw that happen was, of course, what ended the Second World War, when we dropped the worst bomb on Hiroshima to end the Second World War. And I have heard through some reliable sources that this is on the table. No, I'm not suggesting at all that's going to happen, but I have heard that that is on the table. That's not ruled out. And I think Trump wants to end the Middle East war once and for all. But I don't know how that ends. And we can only sort of look back in history and see Japan now is a very friendly country, and we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. I can't imagine how you're feeling with all this.
No, that's not. Again, that's not the information I have. But yeah, that would be. I think that would be condemned by every single.
I'm sure it would, but I don't think Trump cares
there.
about that.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it's not going to be that way. we'll
So
see. This is developing, but
so
I
what are
don't
you
have any-
suggesting? Just an escalation of the level of bombs?
A big bomb missile strikes. We could get those those planes, the stealth bombers out again. We could see a big operation unfolding any minute now. I'm not saying it's going to be a complete annihilation of civilian areas. It's probably going to be a big attack on all military bases. So yeah, that's information I have. Nothing too extreme in the sense of anything like Hiroshima.
I hope I'm wrong. And as I say, I'm not making that claim, but I'm just telling you that's what's been discussed.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But discussing something
all
is
all the news we have, all the sources we have. These are the information we're bringing to the people. Again, we don't know if or when it's going to happen. Only the people in the military command room know what they're going to do. But yeah, this is what some sources are bringing to us. We've just seen one land in central Israel, Tel Aviv. They didn't manage to intercept it, so that's gonna have a impact on the escalations.
I know you can't share information at the moment. I understand you will be able to later on, and we all understand why, and we respect you for that, and everyone offers our support to you. And it sounds kind of crass and pointless, but I know that you'll understand this question because you are here with me building this network and service for our Lucasades and Discordians. They want to know about the markets. They are, I can see in the chat, showing their love to you, but they also want to know about the markets. That's what we do. We're an investment channel. And what is your thoughts on the markets and how you're playing this? And I'm sorry that's such a crass question in such a situation.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, let's put aside our feelings and talk about what's going on. We have me and you both. We've been playing it in a sense defensive, but still in the market. So you're in stocks that are least impacted from what could unfold, but still has great upside due to AI, because we're both very bullish on AI. We know where this technology is going and how it's going to benefit. The way I've positioned myself personally is defensive, but AI. So I've gone into the healthcare industry because that's typically defensive because everyone's always going to need healthcare, but there's so many good advancements with AI. So it's got that AI growth to it. I am positioned in copper because, again, electrification needs copper. We all know we need more electricity demand and upgrading of the infrastructure, but not necessarily knowing exactly investing in an AI ETF, which could have a bunch of companies that could go under. I am looking at utilities because utilities are always needed. They're what consumers always use, but they also benefit from the AI electrification. We're also looking personally at consumer staples as a defensive hedge. I do think later on this year we will continue to go lower, whether it is an inflation shock due to this war going on for too long. Again, I don't invest in oil as like you don't, but I know the effects of oil could be quite dramatic across the board. So, for example, if oil prices go up, we can have inflation go up. And me and you both have discussed that actually, guys, we're not going to get 50 rate cuts this year. Again, a bit of hyperbole there. We're not going to get 50 rate cuts this year, like everyone's saying. 5 rate cuts, 4 rate cuts, 10 rate cuts, whatever. We've said for the last year we're going to get maybe 1 or 2, maybe 1. And that is now the story, that we might get 1 or 2. But actually, if we get this war continue for more than a day, more than a week, and this turns into a longer few weeks, months, whatever it is, we've now seen the Strait of Hormuz close. Oil prices going up will have a major effect on inflation. If you might be losing me slightly, I apologize. If you do,
no, I've still got you. You're coming through strong. You're good.
Oh, brilliant. If inflation does go up because of oil and gasoline prices and all those sorts of things can push inflation up, we could actually have rate hikes, which is definitely not priced into the market, but something we are hearing more about, such as in the FOMC minutes we covered. So I am a touch bearish on this year. I think it's a year to find positions, enter positions at good prices, and we'll benefit from those positions, but it's going to be volatile. And that's how I position myself. Crypto obviously is a bit volatile today. As you mentioned, after the announcement, again, is it fully, the US haven't fully verified the story yet, but I completely agree with you. What you've heard, what you've got from the White House press room, I'm also hearing from multiple sources as well. And we've just got a story coming out from the US that Trump believes Khamenei is dead as well. So that's all lining up. We are pretty certain on that. Your sources are saying that, my sources are saying that, and now we're starting to get confirmation from the heads of state in the US. So that could have that did cause, maybe everyone thought that's the end. But is that going to be the end? That's the question. We're now seeing more escalations, missiles going into Israel, actually striking Israel, and now potentially in the next 15 minutes, an operation from the US and Israel on Iran.
Thank you. A lot of people are asking. Discord is extremely busy today. A lot of people worried. I know Rob, who does some charts in Discord, has been very worried and spooking people out a little bit. They've been like, oh my God, we should sell. I don't believe that at all. I dropped in a comment to say, I am just like what you just said there. I always remain in the market. I sold the S&P because the S&P is the broader index, and I think it's overpriced. 40 times earnings is 30 times earnings is ridiculous for the S&P. It contains a lot of businesses that have been going sideways for years. So I decided to sell. I've made a lot of money with 50% last year, I think it was, and then start buying into what I think are less inflationary proof stocks, like you just said, Google and AI, Nvidia. These are problem solvers. They are most profitable businesses. They are businesses that will survive high interest rates because they actually make money from their pots of cash sitting around. It allows them to crush competitions, and there's nothing better to be in tech that solves problems when they don't rely on physical things being moved around, particularly Google. So if oil goes up, it doesn't affect Google as much. Of course, the overall market comes down, these things come down. But a cash cow like that, a high cash flowing business, that's where you want to be right now. But we learned a lot, and I'm really glad that you've called in because I wanted to be able to share this. Am I okay with you for a moment? I know you must be wanting to go. Yeah. You're okay. Okay, just let me know if you have to go to family. I wanted to say thank you for the work that you did to compile that outstanding report in the newsletter. It was first rate, provided me a great script to be able to read from and then add my views to it. If you missed it, guys, go and check out the video a couple of days ago about Jane Street. Sensei's done a version as well. You might want to go and see. You probably should go and see Sensei's actually, because he wrote the newsletter. I simply read it.
Martyn's is better. He did a better production. Same story. Go watch Martyn.
Yeah, it was better production, to be fair. But you got the information, so there we go. But no, go and check out Sensei's. He'll say mine. I'm saying his. That's why we're friends, right? But watch both. It's exactly the same. And mine's about 4 minutes longer. I just drawled it out a little bit with my little bit thrown in. But there you go. Great information stuff. And the point of learning stuff is to apply it to your strategy. It's not just to, that's dramatic, and then move on and forget it. Apply it. And this is why this morning, or just an hour or so ago, I told you what I was expecting to happen, a bit of a surge in crypto. I took some profit. Remember, you can hold Google, it earns money. You can hold Coca-Cola, it earns money. Crypto only goes up if people buy it and if people are fearful. And we've shown now that digital gold, Bitcoin, is not, because gold keeps rallying and rallying and rallying because everybody wants to own the shiny gold stuff. So, hedge against inflation? Gold, digital gold? No, nonsense. And now the report, we had two reports. The other report, which Sensei put together, was all about Jeffrey Epstein and the way it was controlling XRP and all that and the corruption. Now, just because something's corrupt, that doesn't also make it bad to invest in. Remember the story of the way Coca-Cola sent a plane full of money, flew it over with federal support into England, where they went around dumping money in all the supermarkets to take virgin cola off the shelves. Big money can be a bully. But you want to invest in the winning business, but it doesn't always mean it's nice. not, these big businesses aren't always nice, all right? But that's the choice you make if you want to win for your family and have a successful pension or not. The choice is yours. But crypto is, there's a lot of stuff behind it, and we've shown you the information with Jane Street report from Sensei's months of collating information. It was just incredible work, and the Jeffrey Epstein work, which wasn't popular. We got a lot of views on it, but people didn't want to see it. They didn't want us to report on it, but it was the facts nevertheless. So, just for me, I always remain in the in the markets, as in the businesses that produce income, that have cash flow, because I might not get the bottom right now, but Sunday night, if Nvidia is still down, I'm going to buy some, absolutely, because it's about 5% lower than where I bought it from. That I want to be in because it makes money. Crypto, you've just seen me trim I think it's a couple Ethereum, I think it was. Just a small amount, but nevertheless, I took some profit. Made very little profit, but I protected my money rather than losing it, right? Made a small amount. So I think people that say you should get out of the market, World War III is coming, and all this stuff, utter nonsense. I don't think for a moment Trump is going to drop a nuclear bomb on Iran. Doesn't mean to say they can't talk about it and scare people. That's the idea, right? That's why you have the deterrent, to scare people. Oh my God, Trump does everything. Would he do that? Oh, we better behave ourselves. Well, that's not a bad thing. Remember when you were at school? And if you were naughty, you thought the head teacher, at least when I was at school, might give you the cane or the slipper. Now it's like nothing. You get an award if you're naughty these days. Anyway, Sensei's got all that to come with mini Sensei on the way. You'd have to go for all of that. But when I was a kid, I was scared of my teacher giving me a slap, so I behaved myself. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think anybody here does either. But it's just there. I think you should always remain in the market, but pivot. And because I forget, Sensei, you might remind me, is it down the stairs, up the elevator, or down the stairs and up the elevator? Or
up the stairs and down the elevator.
Up the stairs. So in other words, it's slow going up, but it comes down quickly. Is that what we're saying? Yeah. Okay. All right. I always get that confused. I sometimes actually think it can go the other way, though, because if we get something good come out of all of this, and we get peace in the Middle East all of a sudden, and we get a new guy take over Iran who's lovely and everybody likes him and he's nice to everybody and Trump likes him and oh my God, everyone's great. Because remember, and I'm sure Sensei would be able to explain this better than me, Iran is a beautiful country, and it used to be a very rich, prosperous country, and it's only been ruined by its leaders. But it's a wonderful, wonderful place. All right, and I'm sure Sensei would be able to validate that. And if we could get somewhere and get some peace and diplomacy again, the market would rally. And well, what would rally most? A speculative asset to pump and dump, or a great business that everybody wants to buy into, like Nvidia and Google. So that's where I want to be. And I don't mind it being down. I don't mind my portfolio being down 100 grand, because now it's 300 plus. It could easily, in fact, like 450 was the margin. It could go down 100 grand in a day. But then when it goes up, I'm in a great business. So I don't believe people on Discord saying you should get out of the market and sell and put it all in cash. We've got one of our dear friends, Tim Rogers. He's always sitting in cash, so he misses every moment. If you're always in cash, there's one thing I can guarantee. You'll miss the pump when it happens, but you'll earn 4% from your uninvested cash if you can get that, and that's great. But, we're trying to make more than 4%, because if you earn 4%, you've barely kept up with inflation, and really you've gained nothing. So sitting in cash is a safe option, but a losing option long term, in between now and again for a while. But just sitting in cash forever because you're afraid of every scenario, I think is wrong. But don't be afraid to take some profit either. And that's why I just sold, because I wanted more cash in my buying power to be able to buy Sunday night's drop. Because we're bound to get a little drop. I can't see why Nvidia would open up. I'm down about 8%. I could buy at least 3 or 4% down and still benefit from that. So either way, if it goes lower, I've got more lower, and if it goes up, I'm already in. So that's what I'll be doing, and that's why I've done it. Look like you want to say something there, Sensei.
Yeah. I was just going to say you're completely spot on. We actually did a newsletter last Friday. If anyone wants to go check it out, you can go to the archive and check it out. Last Friday, we did a newsletter on different wars and how it affects the stock market. And I think it was 9 out of 10 times a year on from the war, we were much higher than before. So these people that are promoting panic selling, always get out the market, go into cash, there'll be a better opportunity to buy. Look, people that panic sell, you have to make an opportunity. You have to say, okay, when am I going to buy back in? And you might be left behind. How many times have people tell us in 2020 that the markets are going to continue going down? We're going to go lower. In 2022 bear market, when you started buying, and we looked at the technicals and we said, okay, we're actually breaking out into a bull market. Everyone was like, no, the bear market is going to continue. AI is overvalued. How many times in 2024 where we said AI was overvalued, we're going to crash? Most people, the best thing in the market is to stay in. And when we did the newsletter research specifically tied to wars and periods of conflict, we published it last Friday. This is peer-reviewed academic research we're citing in these newsletters. It was stay in the market. A year on, we're normally up 9 out of 10 times, and the time which was the 10th time was actually a broader bear market within not to do with the war. So essentially, I completely echo what you're saying. Look, this is not a time to panic sell and go, okay, if a nuclear bomb was dropped, then we've got bigger issues to worry about. That's the situation where maybe we get a 100% crash in the stock market. But again, not 100%, but we've got bigger things to worry about if we have an issue that big. So on the most part, staying invested, being, in my opinion, diversified, having assets like gold, silver, they're going to benefit even in geopolitical situation. Having betting on big AI companies that are here to stay, such as Google, I would say the leader in AI. Again, that's not good. That business is not going anywhere. It might drop 10%. It might drop. We've seen it drop, 10% now. It might drop more, but it's not going anywhere. So you can be confident in those investments. Again, with my strategy, defensive but exposed to AI. That's the way I'm playing it. There's many different ways you can play it, but you still want to be invested in the market. So yeah, if you do want to check out that the research we put out on different wars, you can go into the archive on the newsletter. You can check out my portfolio challenge if you don't know what I'm talking about with defensive AI. I do run a portfolio challenge. Martyn has a link that he'll put if Martyn, you don't mind posting in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a 1 week free trial, or it's a 25% discount. One or the other. You can check it out. You get the portfolio challenge. You get my hours of research. You can see how I'm positioning myself. You can see the daily news, and trade on facts, not just emotion and speculation. That's what we try and teach here on the channel. And again, yes, we want to cover the news. We want to see what's going on in Iran. We want to see what the news is, do our research, and then apply that research. And that's what we try and do for everyone watching. We try and provide you the best, most honest news. Unlike literally, I don't see any other channel doing what you've created here and what I'm trying to be a part of.
Thank you, Sensei. Yeah, and you should all use the newsletter. It's my daily go-to. It's how I understand, in addition with my own personal contacts and so on, how I invest every day. I use it, and you can get I've just dropped you a link in there with 25% off. If you replace 25% off with Martyn, Marty, and you get a free trial. So what do you want? A free trial or 25% off? The choice is yours. But it's a complete, I think it's worth saying, and you've been offered some great information here. It's all about rewiring your brain, right? Because investing, most people don't understand what that actually means, right? If you collect physical things, so you're at home and you collect tins of beans. You're preparing for the end of the world, and you go out and you get a tin of beans, then you buy another tin of beans. You've got 2 tins of beans and 3 tins of beans. You don't ever want to lose your beans. Sounds silly, but stick with me, folks. And you've got a pile of cans of beans, and as long as you keep them and add to it, you're always getting more beans. That is not investing. That is collecting. Collecting is not investing. Now, collecting is the emotional experience of getting more and more cans of beans, and when the world comes to an end, I've got 300 cans of beans. I can live forever. Okay, and you never want to give one away. You just keep getting more beans. That's collecting. And a lot of crypto investors, don't call them investors, I call them speculative gamblers, who don't understand what they don't know. And that's why we produced the Jane report, the Jane Street report, and the Jeffrey Epstein report. You don't know what you're playing against. So you're completely oblivious. And because you've got lots of screens, if you've got a trading setup at home and all these lines everywhere, you somehow feel that you're in a space station and you've somehow got some secret information. It means nothing to those that control it all. They don't even look at it. They're just moving it around. Anyway, that's collecting. Now, investing is different. Investing is moving in and out of assets at the right time, and there's nothing wrong with trading or swing or scalp or long-term or whatever, but being in the right asset at the right time to grow a portfolio for the future. It's not about collecting stocks or how many I've got today. The stock doesn't care you own it. Doesn't mind if you buy it or sell it. It doesn't mean anything. It's not about how much you've got today. I know when I sold the S&P a few months ago, people freaked out. Oh my God, Martyn just buys the S&P and that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with doing that because I have a ever increasing income because I have a business which is growing. So if I just bought the S&P, never sold, never paid tax, and just kept buying the S&P every month, I would just be a wealthy, because I earn decent money now, I would just be a wealthy dollar cost averager. And I talk about it on the show. Dollar cost averaging is one of the worst things you can do. It's a safe way of doing it. If you don't study and you just buy every single week or every single month, in 20 years, you're going to be up. Of course you're going to be up. As long as you bought an index that, an individual business could go bust. But you'll be up in 20 years. Of course you will. Not because you're smart or clever or your granddad told you to do that. It's because money gets devalued, so prices go up. So the stocks go up, even if the business went sideways. So you didn't pick a great business. You're not super clever. You just basically bought inflation. That's all you did. And you just did it for 20, 30 years. Nothing clever about that. That's not what Warren Buffett does. That's not what I do. Okay? You got to move. And it's okay to sell for a profit, as I did with the S&P, and then recognize, one, inflation's on the rise. We're not going to get rate cuts like everybody thinks. Everything's not going to boom when Trump says it's the golden age of crypto. That might come, but it ain't today, and it hasn't been for the last year. Definitely not. I recognized that a year ago. So I sold my crypto at the top. Didn't you all remember me doing that? And I bought the dip and I said I'd end up owning more of you because you're all stuck up here, can't do anything. I took my profit, wait, start nudging in, and here I am today with over 100 grand in crypto. So I have moved into some assets which are currently down. Now, if I'd stayed in the S&P, I would be up nothing. Because the S&P has gone sideways all year. It went up a little bit, came back down, gone nowhere. The S&P is back where it started. I'm not making this stuff up. You can all go and look yourself, right? Can't make it up. The beginning to where we are today, we've gone nowhere. We've gone sideways. So if I'd stayed there, what would have happened? Nothing. I would still be where I was in January. But what I did was I took my profit when it was up before it started going down and sideways. Then I bought other assets which continued going down but have much greater upside when they start to come up. Because when the S&P recovers, maybe it does 5%. Maybe it does 10%. But find me one analyst on planet Earth who only thinks Nvidia or Google or Robinhood has a 10% or less gain over the next 12 months. And there's crickets. You won't hear it. No one's going to tell you that. They're going to say between 20 and 30% for those assets. So right now I'm down. And famously, it reminds me of Warren Buffett when people go, oh, you're down. Look at what's happened since Buffett has handed the reins over. Berkshire's underperforming. Are they worried? No. They're building positions in businesses that are going down. They also bought Google. How are they feeling now? Google's up for them when they bought it, but it's not gone to where they want it to be, why they bought it. So you can be down on an asset today. That doesn't matter. I was talking to my wife about it the other day. She has a regular job like most people. She has 401k like most people, and she buys the asset every month. And I went, babe, the markets are down. That's great for you. She says, what do you mean? I said, it's horrible. My portfolio. I said, it's great because you're earning money today. and you're buying the assets when they're down. In the perfect scenario, if I could control it like Jane Street does, I would say, I want the market down 90% for the next 10 years. And then the day I retire, boom, it explodes because it's oversold and everyone goes, oh my God, what's going on? It's been manipulated. Martyn Lucas manipulated it. He's held the market down for 20 years and now he's retiring. Boom. That's what you want. So it's okay to be down. And I get criticised from people that might want to criticise the channel or troll me or whatever and say, oh, he's moved out of the S&P and now it's all down. Of course it's down. I'm buying my next position. Do you remember when I bought Liberation Day? What did everybody do?
Yeah, we were.
Remember that?
We were live. We did a whole 12-hour live.
What happened?
I remember that.
Most people, Tim Rogers, Mr. Cash, sold out. Oh, I don't want to be in this. I don't want to be in this. What did I do? I bought. Was my portfolio going down? Oh, yeah. Down, down, down. I turned margin on. Poof. Do you remember? Bye. I went, it's going to hit the bottom in a minute. Oh, you're an idiot. Oh, you won't catch the bottom. What happened? I bought the bottom, the exact bottom. And I bought all the way down. So then what did I do? As it started coming up, because I was over leveraged, I started to sell the higher lots, keep the lower lots. What happened? I made 50 grand in a few days.
Do you notice the pattern though? Every time there's a big event like this, all financial channels go to sleep. They don't
what
care
is
about
that all about?
Liberation Day, we were the only ones live. We were the only ones buying. Today, where is everyone? Is everyone scared? They're not. They don't care about their audience.
I tell you what, I know. If I was Mr. Bloomberg, or Michael Bloomberg, or if I'm Mr. CNBC, right, I would run my business very differently. I would tell my broadcasters to get out their bed, like I said to Vaz this morning. Can you carry on, mate? I'm going to get out of bed. I'm not even had a shave yet. I've been preparing. I've had a shower. I'm clean, by the way. Clean my teeth and had a shower. But I've not had a shave yet. This is my weekend look, right? Don't have a shave at the weekend. I like to not have a shave. It gives me a nice fresh shave on Monday morning. But I'm here. I've given Leah money today to go out and have a nice time because she doesn't want to be here when I'm on Saturday. She did not want to hear it, right? I don't want to hear all about it. So I've given Leah some money to go to a nice place, have a nice time. She's having a lovely time, getting her hair done and everything. She's very happy. Pedicure, manicure. It's costing me a fortune, really. I'm probably losing money if I'm honest. But anyway, we're live. And can you believe that Bloomberg hasn't woke up its broadcasters today and say, can someone cover this, please? We'll do it on Monday. What about now? The markets are open. The crypto market is open. This is real life. And I'm amazed. Finance channels are all shut apart from Martyn Lucas Investor. We're never shut, mate. We're here. And I believe if you can, you'll try and go live later, but you might be difficult for you because it's late in the UK and you've got family issues with Iran, so I know. But we're trying to bring you the coverage.
I'll try and go live later. I'll try and broadcast in the morning. I mean, the first thing I did this morning, I saw the news and I thought the first thing
I saw you. I couldn't believe it.
And I have to go and report on this on the channel.
What time did you go live this morning?
No, it wasn't too early. I think it was 9 a.m. UK time, something like that.
Yeah, but that's 3 a.m. my time. Isn't it?
It's early in the US, yeah.
3 a.m. So for our American audience, which is 55%, it's 3 a.m. But so you know that you might not get the biggest audience. Mind you, it ended up like 14,000. But our audience were asleep, at least 55%. But you still went live because you wanted to make sure the news was covered. Bloody hell, I couldn't believe when I woke up. I never wake up on a Saturday morning and find out you've been live since 3 a.m. What's all that about? Anyway, thanks for doing that. It was tremendous.
Yeah, of course. Well, we're going to continue to cover it. Again, I am waiting for more reports to get verified. If anything does come to me... Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, I'm back. If anything does come to me, I will. If everything else breaks while you're still live, I will come and present those facts. But again, thank you for what you're doing. Let's keep doing what we're doing, and I will try and call back in when I've got any other information. But thanks for having me on the show, Martyn.
It's a real pleasure. I'll let you go. I know you've got to get back to your family. Love to your wife. Not long now. Little mini Sensei. Love the nursery and the very posh stroller.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he gets born into a world which has a bit more peace and everything.
Let's hope so. That'd be nice. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
That would be lovely. Thank you, Sensei, for calling in. Terrific job. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Sensei. We'll let him go. I could leave him on. I could have him on the show all afternoon, but I want him to be able to, talk to his family. Right. So let's get back to it. We're waiting for the next bit of news to come out. As you can see, we did get crypto go up. It's a bit wobbly. Now you can see why I took profit. I've got plenty in if it goes up, and I can buy if it goes down. I don't want to be all in with crypto today. Not at all. I want to take some profit. So let's just take a moment to welcome several people who've just joined Discord. Let me just tell you what you now get. If you want to join Discord and you want my 24-hour trades, my one-on-one support, a community of over 700. Oh, Sensei's back on the line already. That was quick. What's going on? Sensei, you're back on the show. You're muted. You're muted at the moment.
Oh, that's on my end. Sorry, I just saw something came through. Trump has now confirmed that the Supreme Leader is dead.
There you go. And I had that from my White House press room contact 2 hours ago now. How about that, folks? Was it lucky guess? My trolls will say lucky guess, 50-50. Well, keep getting it right, don't I? Thank you, Sensei. Did you want to stay on or just wanted to confirm that?
No, just wanted to draw that in.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you. Cheers. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, we get people do that all the time. People think there's no way Martyn Lucas, a bloody entertainer, a piano man, cannot possibly know all this stuff. Well, keep getting it right. Maybe I get it right every time. Maybe I'm a clairvoyant. Maybe I can just see into the future. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really lucky and I'm really brave to announce it live on the show, and I'll somehow, get out of it by saying I got it wrong. I don't know. Anyway, no, I told you this 2 hours ago. It's great. So anyway, I say it's great. It's nothing great. Someone's just been killed. As a bad person being killed, I'm not judging. I don't know. I think so. I assume so. But at the end of the day, he died 2 hours ago, and I had that the second that it happened within about 3 minutes, actually. All right. So anyway, you just heard there, Sensei report it has just now been officially reported, and I had that directly from the White House 2 hours ago. So if you'd like to get these tips, I talk directly with the Bank of America. I talk directly with Robinhood. I talk directly with Ripple. I talk directly with a White House press room contact. I talk directly to many managers of Wall Street, CEOs. If you would like to join me on my journey, we're here to help people. I am the World Piano Man. I'm an entertainer, but I'm now an investor. I want to help people. That's all I want to do. Okay, you can watch for free. You can listen for free. But if you'd like all my trades and my one-on-one support, I can't offer it to millions for free. How can I? I'm one person. In fact, I'm 4 people on the channel. But I can do it for my members. So what we've done is we've put up several paywalls on the extra channel, which is live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's 99 cents. That's enough that scammers, trolls, and bots won't pay it. So we've got a wonderful service, 24 hours a day. Let me show you, and then we'll come back to the news. If you look on the homepage of the channel, this is the extra channel. It restreams what you've missed, so you can see everything. Nothing is edited, nothing is deleted, and nothing is taken away. It runs 24 hours a day, restreams the day's events. If you would like that, all right, you can watch for free, listen for free. Go and subscribe right now. There it is in the chat. If you become a member of that channel, it's 99 cents. It's a bit of the reason why I made it 99 cents was a bit of a laugh towards the flipping idiot trolls, because not one of them would pay it, and they don't. It's as cheap as it could possibly be. YouTube won't let you make a membership less than 99 cents. So go and subscribe to that if you would like to do so. And there's something else you might like. And it will never go up in price ever, and there's no inflation. ever. You've also got the Clips channel, which we got to 1,000 subscribers in just over a month. I'm really proud of that. In 1 month, we got to just over a month, 2 months actually, we got to 1,000 subscribers. Now, this is for people who are very busy, who want all the headlines in seconds. There it is. We give you all the news in seconds, 30-second clips, 17-second clip. Everything you need in 17 seconds, boom. A special report. We bring it all to you live. You cannot afford to miss it. All right? So what is this? This is got all the text on the screen so you can see it in mute if you want to. It's called the Clips channel. And for this, it's free completely. There's no ads. There's no memberships. You can watch it and get your daily update every day in the playlist, the Clips playlist. Please go and subscribe now to the Clips channel. All the information that I get directly from all those sources, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, shared in clips that you can watch for free, few seconds, get everything. That's the Clips channel. Have you all done that? Okay. The last one is our music channel. I'm the World Piano Man, and this is our music channel, and this is this will be the biggest of all the channels by a long way. Once it starts to take off, because my audience that followed me around the world are all old and dead. They all came to theatres, the Palladium, the London, the Blackpool Grand. I did Vegas. I travelled the whole world, right? They don't watch YouTube. Here is my Martyn Lucas music channel. You might like to do that because we put special moments here. We have concerts every Friday. We raise money for charity. And last night, one of my dear mates, a dear mate of mine, and probably the best piano man in the world, Neil Sedaka, he died. And I wanted to do a tribute to Neil. I did this last night. I hope you got the chance to listen to it. Here's a little taste so you know what it's all about. Moments ago has sadly passed away, and I was in the middle of my live Friday night concert, and I heard of this from my audience. So I wanted to now dedicate the last part of my show to my great friend, the Neil Sedaka. Is some of my favorite music from the man, a great musician. So we're going to dedicate the next 15, 20 and more, much more than this. I didn't. That's when I did an impression of Elvis. Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew. There you go. I can't play too much for copyright. More than I could chew, but through it all, and there was down. There we go. That was our tribute last night to Neil Sedaka. Absolutely love Neil Sedaka. He was a good mate of mine. Met him at many conventions. Anyway, there we go. So there's the music channel. I've got one more thing for you. Of course, you've all got the link now to the newsletter. We're giving you a free trial and 25% off. Lastly, our new offering is our Discord server. Our Discord server was there to create the village, the Lucasade village. It was the last piece that I wanted to put in this puzzle of our network. We wanted a 24-hour community village where people could have fun, talk to each other, where I could share my tips and information with you 24 hours a day, but where you could have fun. We have guest speakers. We have live events at the end of the shows on trading days. There will be one after this because I'm live today. There is, and it's only a couple of bucks to be a member. It'll never go up in price. There's no inflation ever. We have a higher tier of $4.99 as well. If you want the 24-hour trades, the 2-stage events a day, guest speakers. We've got a gaming channel. We have lots of fun doing gaming. We've got the Lucasade coin, the Luca coin, where you can win coins and have a lot of fun with rock, paper, scissors. We have a music quiz. It's just great. And you get all of my trades 24 hours a day. If you were on there today, you'd have known about what was happening out of the White House. You'd have known about my trade and 196 trades, 191 wins. You'd know about all of these trades, every single one. And one-on-one support where you can talk to me directly. You can't phone me. You can't text me. I don't see emails. I never see emails anymore. It's handled now by my admin team. I don't see texts, phone calls, emails. I only see I only see Discord. And I only see members. So to keep bots and trolls out, what we do is it's $2.99. And I've just got 2 people wish to join. Dujar and Tinny. Is that Dujarar? DJ Ura or Tinny. Okay, so I'm going to process your application now, and you have a few minutes to choose your membership. Otherwise, we kick you from the server. We don't have people joining just to clog up the service. It's a one-on-one service, right? So let me give you, let me process your account. If you get accepted, if you look like okay. We do make mistakes. People try and scam us, but that's okay. They get kicked within an hour anyway. But sometimes they get through. I try my best to keep it clean. There we go. I'm just processed. One of you got accepted, one of you didn't. Okay. You now have a few minutes to choose your membership. If you choose not to choose a membership, you'll be kicked because we have people queuing up to be on the server and we haven't got time to let people just come in and lark about. That's not what we do. I don't get press room contact information just for someone to lark about. You can imagine we're not interested in that. So there you go. All right. Let's carry on with the news. Sensei, it looks like Sensei will be live shortly. I will also be in Discord later doing a one-on-one call as well. Let me see if I've got any more news. We don't need to tell you the confirmation of the Ayatollah was dead because I already told you 2 hours earlier that was inevitable. But anyway, I'll share it. We'll share what the world is now catching up on.
About the future
already knew
in Iran, but one thing we do know is that the bombing isn't over, Adam, because the president's saying in that Truth Social post, the heavy and pinpoint bombing will continue uninterrupted throughout the week or as long as necessary to achieve our objective. Let's go to the UN and listen to the US representative.
This council followed with Resolution 1737 imposing mandatory sanctions, including bans on nuclear-related materials and technology, asset freezes on key individuals and entities linked to their nuclear program, and establishing a sanctions committee. Subsequent resolutions, 1747 in the year 2007, expanded arms embargoes and asset freezes. Resolution 1803 in 2008 tightened restrictions on dual-use goods and calling for the inspections of Iranian cargo. Resolution 1835 in 2008 reaffirmed the need for full compliance. And Resolution 1927 in 2010, which was the most comprehensive, banning ballistic missile activities, tightening the conventional arms embargo, targeting the IRGC and shipping lines, and prohibiting new Iranian banking relationships.
Goal achieved again, 112,000 subscribers. We're on target for 500,000 this year. We're doubling our rate of growth every month. Thank you, everybody.
Represented
Thank you very much.
The world's collective judgment that Iran's actions posed a threat to international peace and security. And despite numerous opportunities for an alternative path, Iran remained defiant. And the Security Council decided on September 19th of last year, 2025, to restore these measures, snap back sanctions, sending a clear message that the world will not acquiesce to threats and half measures, and Tehran would be held to account. On top of these actions by the UN, American diplomacy was attempted repeatedly and in good faith. President Trump, Secretary Rubio, our special envoys, Witkoff and Kushner, were relentlessly dedicated to diplomacy. But diplomacy cannot succeed where there is no genuine willingness to cease aggression, where there is no genuine partner for peace. As President Trump said today, and he spoke directly to the Iranian people, he said, quote, "To the proud, great people of Iran, I saw tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. The entire world has witnessed the regime's wholesale slaughter of innocent civilians. The sad irony is that this same regime will attempt to lecture us today about human rights and the rule of law. Its presence here in this council makes a mockery of this body. But where the UN lacks moral clarity, the United States of America will maintain it. Indiscriminate and unprovoked attacks by the Iranian regime today against our regional partners, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Jordan, and others, reinforce precisely why such actions are necessary. The regime has not only struck military assets, but civilian infrastructure as well. Those who stand with us must know that their security is not negotiable. The safety of our allies is not conditional. It is assured. The bottom line is this, colleagues. Our allies and partners can count on the United States and can count on President Trump. Colleagues, peace is not preserved by appeasing those who threaten it. Peace is preserved through strength in the face of terror. History has taught us that the cost of inaction is far greater than the burden of decisive action. And our president, President Trump, has taken that decisive action today. I thank you.
I thank the representative of the United States for the statement, and I give the floor to the representative of Denmark.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the UK Presidency for convening the Council for this urgent meeting following the latest developments in the Middle East. I also wish to thank the Secretary General for his statement. Today's developments are deeply concerning and pose the risk of further destabilizing an already volatile situation at a time of heightened tensions in the Middle East. Mr. President, let me reiterate our deep concern over Iran's unacceptable behavior related to its nuclear program, its ballistic missiles, its destabilizing activities in the region and beyond, and its violent crackdown and repression.
Good evening, it's 10 o'clock if you are just joining us. A reminder of the breaking news, and that is that Donald Trump has confirmed in a post on Truth Social that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed in Operation Epic Fury.
I knew 2 hours ago.
That post from the president, in which he says Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead. This is not only justice for the people of Iran,
my audience
but
2
for
hours
all
before
great
you
Americans
did.
and those people from many countries throughout the world that have been killed or mutilated by Khamenei and his gang of bloodthirsty thugs. He was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems, and working closely with Israel, there was not a thing he or the other leaders that have been killed along with him could do. This is the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country. We are hearing that many of their IRGC, military and other security and police forces no longer want to fight and are looking for immunity from us. As I said last night, now they can have immunity. Later, they only get death. Hopefully, the IRGC and police will peacefully merge with the Iranian patriots and work together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. That process should soon be starting, in that not only the death of Khamenei, but the country has been, in only one day, very much destroyed and even obliterated. The heavy and pinpoint bombing, however, will continue uninterrupted throughout the week, or as long as necessary to achieve our objective of peace throughout the Middle East and indeed the world. It ends. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well, let's cross now to Mark Stone in Washington, D.C., our US correspondent there. Mark, so Donald Trump really confirming that Ayatollah Khamenei has been killed in this Operation Epic Fury.
Yes, talk about fast moving. That was how one British diplomat put it
Not
to
that
me
fast, mate.
earlier on
I had
today.
it 2 hours ago.
It is fast moving. A head spinning day in the Middle East. A head spinning day for international diplomacy, geopolitics, and confirmation in the last 15 minutes that the man who has been at the very top of the Iranian regime of the Islamic Republic for 37 years. Ali Khamenei is dead, the supreme leader since 1989. Before that, he was the president of Iran from 1981 to 1989. And then for all those years, 37 years to today, he was the supreme leader, only the second ever supreme leader of the country since the revolution back in 1979. Confirmation from the President of the United States that he is dead. We have no further detail, indeed no proof that he is dead. And the Iranians, as recently as a couple of hours ago, those around the supreme leader, the spokesperson for the foreign ministry speaking to Sky News, were claiming that he was alive. Of course, they would do that up until the point at which it is confirmed that he has died. But on social media, the American president, as is his style, has now confirmed the rumors that had been raised by the Israelis. We heard Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, a key part of the events of the course of the past 12 hours. He said that Khamenei was dead, and now confirmation by the Americans as well. I suppose it is so clear now. If there was an expectation that perhaps the Americans would make a small strike on Iran, perhaps to nudge the negotiations on, that is absolutely not what has unfolded over the past 12 hours or more. Instead, a massive series of strikes by the Americans and by the Israelis that have taken out the leadership right to the very top of Iran. And the question now is, what next? What replaces this? Well, in his statement on Truth Social, the American president suggested, hoped, called for the Iranian people themselves to align with the police force in America, to align with the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, and all of them to create a new future for their own country. Now, if that manages to come to pass, then, well, this truly consequential American president who loves a gamble, who loves to who loves to catch everyone off their stride, well, that gamble will have paid off. But we do not yet know whether that will be the case. And the other scenario is Trump's Afghanistan, Trump's Vietnam, Trump's Iraq, a scenario where regime change is instead regime collapse. And into that, into that vacuum, all the protagonists and all the countries surrounding are in one way or another drawn. So that much we don't yet know what happens next. There will be no desire by the American president to put troops on the ground. He will want this to be an operation that takes place from a distance. He will not want to be drawn into anything, which is why he is articulating his language there that you can see, making it clear that he wants the Iranians themselves to produce their own future, effectively. But very, very tense moments, I think, over the days ahead, without question.
Indeed. Mark, can you tell us a bit more about Operation Epic Fury? Because Donald Trump has said, I can go long and take over the whole thing or end it in 2 or 3 days. It will take Iran several years to recover from the US-Israeli strikes. What is the long game? Is there one? Or is the president hoping that this will be over in a matter of days?
Yeah, of course he's hoping it will be over in a matter of days. Look, what is the long game? What is the short game? What is Trump's game? We just don't know. I mean, it's a very Trumpian statement, isn't it? I can go long, I can keep this going for months and months, or I can call it a day in a couple of days. All his options are open. Some might say because he is deciding on his next move as he goes. That is very much Trump's style. Incidentally, he's in Mar-a-Lago. He's not even doing all this from the Situation Room in Washington, D.C. and the White House, as would be the normal style. So much of this is to a T Trump. It is so unorthodox. He's not in the Situation Room. He hasn't got congressional approval. He has not prepared the American people for this. You know, it was the State of the Union just last week. That was the perfect forum, the perfect moment where if he was to do this the normal way, he would have begun to prepare the American people. We need to do this for X, Y, and Z reasons. He didn't do that. It was over an hour into the State of the Union before he.
But why would he? Why would you want to tell?
Anything to do
with
foreign policy?
Iran what you're going to do?
Iran. Why?
With the stupid
because
thing
he
in the
likes
world
the element of surprise, and he doesn't feel he needs to use Congress or to get the approval of Congress. This is his show. This is the Trump show. He is doing it his way. He is doing it in a truly unorthodox way. As for the operation itself, well, overwhelming American and Israeli attacks right across Iran over the course of the early hours in Iran. It was sunrise before this attack began, which I think in itself is interesting. You would expect it to happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight, perhaps because they knew that at nighttime, when the Iranians would have been expecting the attack, the Ayatollah would have been deep underground. Maybe he was not at the point at which they struck. So we saw that, and then, as I'm sure you're going to go into, we saw the retaliation by the Iranians. Not overwhelming, it has to be said. Yes, inaccurate at times. Places across the Gulf Arab countries were hit, including hotels and all the rest of it, and of course in Israel as well, but perhaps not quite as sustained, certainly on Israel, as might have been expected. Now, is that because Iran does simply not have the capability now, or indeed the leadership, to be able to call the shots that would make up the retaliation? Or is it that Iran, underneath the leadership now decapitated, is playing a longer game, will want to draw America into this, will want to, hold back some of what they could throw at the American bases in the region or throw into Israel, hold that back to create to make this a longer game? Very hard to tell now. I think there will be a tendency, of course, to draw parallels with Iraq 2003. No game plan really for the day after. We all know the history, years and years of sectarian conflict. There will be a tendency and a desire to draw direct parallels. There aren't direct parallels. They're two very different countries. But it is still the case that if you don't have a plan for the day after, and there is no sense at the moment that the Americans do have a plan other than good luck to you, it's your country, make what you will of it. Other than that, there doesn't appear to be a plan. And if you don't have a plan, then regime change can become regime collapse. I was speaking to a European ambassador of a European nation based here in Washington last week, and we were talking about the prospect of Iran. And that ambassador said to me, be in no doubt, there is no day after plan. This is Trump's war and Netanyahu's. They are making this up. They are calling the shots, but they do not have a plan other than, as I say, it's your country, Iranian people. You take it over and you work out what's next. So hugely tense days for sure. A massive gamble by a president who loves to take a gamble, who loves to catch everyone off guard. If it works, well, for America, for his base, it's the booyah moment, American power. If it doesn't work, this is Trump's Vietnam.
Mark, for the moment, thank you very much. Well, let's cross now for the very latest from Adam Parsons, who's in Jerusalem for us. Adam, we're hearing that there's celebrations in the streets of Tehran, according to the Reuters news agency. But where you are, there have been incoming missiles and constant alert sirens.
Yeah, as there have been in Tehran and across Iran, my understanding is at the moment there are American fighter jets over Israel conducting more airstrikes, over Iran, I should say, conducting more airstrikes over that country. The attacks have been done, of course, in concert with Israeli forces. In fact, earlier tonight, the Israeli Air Force sent about 200 planes into Iranian airspace. That was the biggest aerial assault that Israel has ever carried out.
Just going to pause this for a second.
We have seen a series of
we're going to come back to some more news.
Missile interceptions over the course.
Just for a moment, and I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds to decide. We brought, a few weeks ago, we had some idiots mess around with our channel, and we decided to take action, and we did, and we won. A bit like Trump, really. We took action, and we brought out a range of merchandise. It's called Faff Around and Find Out. This sold out within a few hours. We put it on our shop and it sold out. And on the back, it's got, I'll show you on the back, it's got, look, the Lucozades logo. Can you see that? Look, the Lucozades, it's embroidered. These are all embroidered. Look, if you look closely, right, it's all embroidered. Look at that. How cool is that? Right? And there is a whole range. And if enough people say yes, you'd like me to bring it back, I can bring it out for like 1 hour. All right, I've got a new stock for 1 hour. It will sell out. It'll sell out in about 2 minutes. You've got this. You've got the FAFO. You've got the FAFO mug as well. Right, the FAFO mug, which I drink my tea out of. If I get a number of people say yeah, I'll bring it out and it'll be out for like, maybe like, should you like 5 minutes? Right, I've got this. There's the FAFO t-shirt, look. Do you like that? On the back, look, it says Lucozades. It's cool, isn't it? I've got a bit more stock in. Look, there you go. So if enough people say yeah, I'll bring it up and I'll put it up for what? Shall I make it 5 minutes? We got William Myers is saying yeah. Vince says yeah. Slim says yeah. Shall I make it available for 5 minutes? A lot of faffing around. Faff around and find out. Okay. Three people, 4 people. Okay. I'll put it up. It'll be up for, let's do a 5 minute counter. That's it. You just got your mug. My mug just came in. Okay, here we go. So I'll put it up for 5 minutes and I'll take it down. Okay, so here we go. Let me click save. Right. Hang on. It'll just take a few minutes. I'll come back to the news and then I'll bring it to you. Right? I'll tell you when it's ready. I got a few more in, so I can do a few more.
Through its network of secret information. If that were to fade away, the military generally is much less dogmatic in its support of the regime. And by common consent, the majority of Iranians do not support the Ayatollah, do not support this authoritarian regime, but have lived in fear. They are presently also...
Okay, the 5 minute clock is running. There it is. It's martynlucasshop.com. There it is. You got 5 minutes. There's the FAFO range. You can get faff around and find out. You can get a bumper sticker. You can get a hoodie. You can get a t-shirt, a mug, and there's the hat. There's the famous hat that I'm wearing right now. Okay, it's all printed and made in your country. There's a t-shirt for a lady. It's all there. Different things. We've also got I'm All In, which is my that's my Coca-Cola range as well. So you got 5 minutes. I'll take it off air in 5 minutes. There you go. There's the bumper sticker. All right, let me give you the link. martynlucasshop.com. 5 minutes from now. What's the time? So it's at 20 past the hour. martynlucasshop.com. Let's go back to the news. And in 5 minutes, it's gone again. I've only got a small supply. So that's it. 5 minutes, it's gone. All right, there you go.
Extend into the future.
Faff around and find out.
The politics, the policies,
We're trying to be
and
polite.
the safety of so many people in the Middle East.
Indeed, Adam, thank you very much for the moment. Obviously, as Adam's saying there, it has repercussions across the region and the Middle East at large. You are watching The Wrap. With me tonight, journalist and author Christina Patterson and Jasmine El-Gamal, a political analyst and former Middle East advisor at the US Department of Defense, and also our international affairs editor, Dominic Waghorn. Dom, I'm going to come to you first of all. The big question now
I can
is,
tell you there's 10
next?
pieces available and 2 have gone.
Cautious, don't we?
3 have
Because
gone.
information
7 left.
in wars
You got 5
is
minutes.
used as a weapon, and there's a lot of briefing going on, particularly in America, and it's just very hard to work out how much of it is true, and we'll have to wait just for time to sort of bear out what we're being told. But what we are being told at the moment, through various briefings to the American and the Israeli military, is that what happened this morning was not just the start of an air campaign, but a particularly effective decapitation operation, which, according to various accounts, targeted not just the Ayatollah, but also various key commanders, including some of the figures he's potentially appointed as successors in a bunker in the compound that he lived in Tehran, but not a deep enough bunker to be able to withstand the blast of what may have been a 30-ton bomb dropped on him, rather like what happened to Hassan Nasrallah.
Three pieces left.
Now if that is the
Three
case,
pieces
then it's
left.
not just the Ayatollah who has been
Faff
killed,
around and
we
find
don't have
out.
any confirmation yet that he's been killed. But it's also sort of the top level of his command, potentially. Now, if he is dead, then it looks like it's not just the death of the Ayatollah, but also the death of the Iranian Revolution, which was effectively on life support. This revolution began in 1979. It was a massive earthquake for the region and for the world. It was, you know, people have described the Ayatollah, both the Ayatollah and the one before him, as an extraordinary figure, sort of part pope, part religious leader, part general, part revolutionary leader, part
I can tell you why Bitcoin's
autocrat. And he,
in just a few moments, I'll explain it all to you.
Played that role. Very, very powerful figure. But the Iranian Revolution was an earthquake.
1 minute left. Martyn Lucas Shop, we've got 1 minute.
The region.
There's 2 pieces left. It's about to sell out again. Faff around and find out.
Into
MartynLucasShop.com. You've got 1 minute.
To revolutionise the region, but also tried to export their region beyond their borders. It's been on life support because it has failed ideologically. It has failed economically. It's also completely failed what its sort of fundamental tenet, one of its fundamental tenets, was that it would protect the Iranians by having this sort of ring of defence around it, using proxies. And those have been dismantled over the last year by their Israeli enemies. It has been the focus of now several years of on-off protests. When I was there most recently, one person who was sort of supplied to us by the government as a kind of minder, he said, you must understand that the young people here, they just say F you to the corrupt old men. Just get out of our lives. You know, your time has gone. You know, it's come and gone. Your revolution is over. We just want to live like normal people. And, you know, tens of thousands of Iranians have taken to the streets in recent months again to try and topple this regime or protest against it. And the regime has gone out and shot them in their thousands, just sending out police and officers and soldiers to shoot them dead with live ammunition. So if he is dead, you have to wonder who's going to step forward to try and replace him, given what has happened to him and what justice has been meted out to him by his enemies. And what are the Iranian people going to tolerate?
You've got 30 seconds left. MartynLucasShop.com. The FAFO range was brought out for 5 minutes. That's it. If you're in your basket now,
it's just very hard to work out what happens next, because
you've got the T-shirt, the hat, the mugs.
Complicated country.
Let me just end this now.
And wars never go to plan. And I don't think it's clear the Israelis.
Let me just end this now, folks. Okay, here we go. Let me put on the shop. Let me show you. We're going to end it now. We're going to count down 30 seconds. There it is. If you're in the shop now, you need to exit out. There is the FAFO range bumper sticker. The FAFO, it's Martyn Lucas. It's got the Lucasades on the back. There's the T-shirt. These are all one-off pieces. They're all designed just for you. They'll be made in your country and sent to your country. There is the FAFO mug. You've got the other. If you want to get my signature, there is the signature. Signed, white etched onto it. There is the embroidered hat. Okay, that's what I'm wearing right now. There's a ladies' T-shirt, and that's it. It's going to go off. If you watch, it's about to go off. I'm going to go back into here, click a few buttons. I hope no one's in the middle of a transaction, but we're about to turn it off, and we're going to go back to the news. That's it, folks. It's all over. Until the next time, the FAFO range is gone. Okay, thank you. Let's go and hear this.
That he represented. That said, we don't really know what's going on, because this scenario in itself, so if the uncertainty was around whether Trump would strike or not, it was more certain what would happen once he decided to strike. That part was more certain. I previewed this last week with some of your colleagues, that it was fairly predictable that the US, if they decided to go in at this time, given how weak the regime is, that they would go in and completely decapitate the top leadership and rob Iran of as much retaliatory capacity as they could, both offensive capabilities and defensive capabilities. So this was entirely predictable, and not just to us as analysts. The Iranian regime the top officials and the ones working for them were probably planning for this as well, not just now, but for months, for years. So you have to think there is a plan. Whether that plan remains in place or whether the remaining leadership or the remaining apparatus is so shaken and so concerned for their own lives that they decide to do essentially what the Venezuelan regime did, which was say, okay, you've got your top guy. We would like to stay. We would like to keep our lives. What do you need from us? And then you start to talk about potential transformations of the regime rather than complete decapitation of the entire system itself.
Christina, we read that the Israelis were months in the planning with America for this Operation Epic Fury. But the timing does seem odd in that negotiations were ongoing. Yeah. And as the Iranians have said, you know, why hit when we're talking and very close to a diplomatic resolution?
Midterms, polls not going well for Donald Trump.
That's
always
nonsense.
Good to have a war
it's because they wasn't getting a deal. It's not through the midterms.
I mean, who knows? But I can't help thinking Trump is a whimsical creature, and he's changed his mind on the Chagos Islands about 5 times in the last few months. I don't believe that he has had a strategy for Iran. I don't believe he cares very much about regime change. I felt that I've been to Iran. I love Iran. I have Iranian friends. The people are highly educated. Many people do hate the government. They're also, I mean, the mad thing is you go there, you have to cover your head, obviously fantastically strict and ostensibly Islamic regime, but it's not an Islamic regime. At the time I went, which was 2008, I don't know if this has changed, but I doubt it's changed in favour of the Islamic regime, so-called. About 4% of the population went regularly to Friday prayers. 4%. That is not a fundamentalist country. It's not a country based on an ideology. It's a country living under a dictatorship. And I felt when we saw those young people being slaughtered on the streets in their thousands, maybe 10,000, maybe more, having their eyes shot out, having their genitals shot out, being targeted and murdered and massacred, I felt absolutely furious for the armchair commentators begging them to go on the streets, just as I felt furious when I saw Trump's videos saying, oh, we'd love you to go on the streets, we're not going to do anything. You know, Israel, this is Netanyahu's wet dream to go and do this. He's been planning it for years. He needs a permanent war. And of course, it is an existential. Iran has been an theoretically, Iran has been.
There you go, folks. The FAFO range has gone. Let me know in the chat what you got, and remember when you get your merchandise, share it on Discord, take a picture and share it. What did you get? But they're all sold out, all gone. Thank you very much indeed. That was it. We thought we'd have some fun with that. Faff around and find out. There you go. Thank you ever so much, everybody. There you go.
Absolute nerve in that speech to say, I'm the president who is giving you this once-in-a-generation chance for freedom. I found that deeply, deeply offensive. People have already died. If the reports are right, primary school children, maybe even 80 primary school children have been murdered because of this decision. How Trump can sleep at night knowing that, with no plan for the day after, just as we saw this in Iraq. And I actually wrongly supported the Iraq war when it happened initially, and I soon saw that I was wrong. But when you read about the planning that went into it, i.e. none at all, or read books like, whatever it was, Imperial, there was a book, the various books about what happened in Iraq after the war, with 22-year-olds writing on the back of an envelope what the plan was, and hundreds of thousands of people killed. I just find it desperately upsetting. The instability throughout the Middle East now, no one knows what will happen. It's shocking.
Dominic, the president saying, actually, we're just going to turn and go to New York, the UN Security Council, because the UK representative is speaking.
The Iranian regime has murdered thousands of its own people simply for exercising their fundamental rights and freedoms. Iran has repeatedly ignored calls to find a durable and acceptable solution to the nuclear issue, while continuing to destabilize the region through its support to proxies and partners. We strongly condemn Iranian strikes across the region, including the attacks on a hotel in Dubai the attack on Kuwait's civilian airport, and attacks on civilian targets in Bahrain. We extend our support and solidarity to all our partners, many of which are not parties to the conflict. Regional stability remains a priority. As my Prime Minister stated, UK forces are active and British planes are in the sky today as part of coordinated regional defensive operations to protect our people and regional partners, as the United Kingdom has done before and in line with international law. Reports of strikes on civilians and civilian infrastructure are deeply alarming. The protection of civilians and full respect for international law is critical. Iran must never be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon. That is why we, alongside our French and German partners, have continually supported efforts to reach a negotiated solution. We have always been clear that only a diplomatic solution can fully and sustainably address these threats. We want to see the swiftest possible resolution that ensures security and stability for the region. Iran must refrain from further strikes and its appalling behaviour to allow a path back to diplomacy. We will continue to work with our partners to this end in support of peace and security and the protection of civilian life across the region. I resume my function as President of the Council. I now give the floor to the representative of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
In the name of God, the compassionate and merciful, we appreciate the Secretary General for his briefing and his contribution to this meeting. We express our sincere appreciation to the Russian Federation and China for supporting the convening of this emergency meeting of the Security Council to address the manifest aggression committed by the United States and Israeli regime. I also thank those council members, in particular China, Pakistan, and the Russian Federation, who have today taken principled position in condemnation this unlawful act. And it is regrettable that some members of this body, in a blatant double standard, disregarded the flagrant act of aggression committed by the US and Israel on Iran and condemn Iran for using its inherent right to self-defense on the UN Charter. Mr. President, this morning the United States regime jointly and in coordination with the Israeli regime initiated an unprovoked and premeditated aggression against the Islamic Republic of Iran for the second time in the recent months, while deliberately attacking civilian populated areas in multiple large cities of Iran where millions of people reside. As a result of this brutal armed attack, hundreds of civilians have been killed and injured. The aggression and atrocious crime of the United States regime and the Israeli regime and the deliberate and persistent targeting of civilian infrastructure are going. In addition to the numerous civilian residential buildings, the aggressors have also targeted a school in the city of Minab, Hormozgan province, killing more than 100 children. The number of innocent civilians continues to rise. This is not only an act of aggression, it is a war crime and a crime against humanity. Yet today, once again, the representative of the United States, through a regrettable pattern, has attempted to distort facts and rely on misinformation to justify the blatant aggression of the United States and Israel against my country. The facts, however, are unequivocal. The justification advanced by the representative of the United States today are illegal and entirely devoid of legal foundation. The baseless allegation invoked to defend this unlawful use of force have no standing
Let me just
under
pause
international
this.
law.
It's live, but I'll just pause it so we can hear this.
Adjikovaleko tipped MX $200 through Super Chat. Deliveries aren't reliable here in Playa del Carmen. But this contributes for a big fat tamarind margarita. Cheers and blessings, Martyn. Tithe for your services and dedication to the community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your support. Very much appreciated. Thank you.
The invocation of preemptive attack claims of imminent threats or other substantiated political claims cannot legitimize aggression. Such claims are unfounded legally, morally, and politically, and they contradicted the clear principles of the Charter of the United Nations. I also categorically reject the assertion made by the representative of France, the United Kingdom, and certain other Western members regarding Iran's peaceful nuclear program. These claims lack a factual and legal basis. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of the Israeli regime have openly claimed responsibility for this act of aggression and have explicitly articulated regime change as their objective, an unmistakable admission of their intent to violate Iran's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The President of the United States has falsely described this aggression as necessary to neutralize an imminent threat to the American people. This is nothing more than a deliberate attempt to mislead the international community and the U.S. public opinion and manufacture consent for unlawful war. Similarly, the representative of the United States has cynically sought to mislead this council. Yet history provides ample documentation that the foreign policy of the United States has repeatedly relied on unlawful force, covert intervention, and political manipulation to alter the governments of other member states. This record is well established. The reality is clear and undeniable. What is taking place today against my country by the United States and the terrorist regime of Israel is a blatant act of aggression, a full-fledged violation of international law. No justification, no accusation, no narrative of disinformation can legitimize or excuse this manifest crime and aggression. Mr. President, we have communicated on several occasions with this Council and the Secretary General about warmongering statement and interfering actions in the internal affairs of Iran by the President of the U.S. in a blatant violation of the UN Charter and international law, and called for the Council action. Regrettably, all were unanswered. The issue before the Council is straightforward. Whether any member state may, including a permanent member of this Council, through the use of force, coercion, or aggression, determine the political future of another state or impose control over its affairs. International law and the Charter are explicit on this matter. Article 2, Paragraph 4 of the Charter categorically prohibits the threats of use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. Mr. President, against this backdrop, I would like to make the following points. 1. What is occurring against my country is a clear act of aggression. It is an open armed aggression against the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States and Israel war today is not merely a war against Iran. It is a war against the Charter of the United Nations, a war against international law, and a war against the international legal order upon which the United Nations and the Security Council have been built for over 8 decades. As the Charter affirms, the United Nations was established to save succeeding generations from a scourge of war. The Charter, adopted in 1945, is founded upon this fundamental principle. Members shall refrain from threat or use of force in international relations. The sole exception is the inherent right of self-defense under Article 51, and only in the event of an armed attack, the military aggression carried out by the United States and Israel satisfies none of the criteria of lawful self-defense. Accordingly, the action of the United States and Israel constitute a manifest violation of Article 2, a peremptory norms and a fundamental principle of international law accepted by all member states. Neither the Charter nor international law recognize internal matters of a state as justification for the use of force by other states. Were this otherwise, no international legal order could endure. The rule of law would be replaced by the rule of force. 2. In responding to aggression and large-scale war, the Islamic Republic of Iran is exercising its inherent and lawful right of self-defense under Article 51 of the Charter of the United Nations. The armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran are utilizing all the necessary defensive capabilities and means to confront this criminal aggression and deter the hostile acts. Consequently, all bases, facilities, and assets of the hostile forces in the region shall be regarded as legitimate military objective within the framework of Iran's lawful exercise of self-defense. Iran will continue to exercise its right of self-defense decisively and without hesitation until the aggression ceases in full and unequivocal terms. 3. Iran remains firmly committed to respecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of its neighboring countries. Under no circumstances will we target the sovereignty, people, or interests of our neighboring countries in the Persian Gulf. Our legitimate response have been directed solely and exclusively at the bases and assets of the hostile government of the United States that operate beyond the control of the host states. Priority has been given to the targets that diminish the aggressor capability and capacity to continue its malign actions. We had previously and formally conveyed this warning to the Secretary General and the Security Council. 4. Despite continuous U.S. hostile policy, we were sincerely and seriously pursuing the path of diplomacy and dialogue to reach a just, fair, and sustainable agreement. Yet, for the second time in the midst of the negotiation, the United States betrayed diplomacy and resorted to force and launched an attack against my country in blatant violation of Charter of the United Nations, brazenly interfering in Iran's internal affairs. They are even calling on the people to riot against their own government. The recent record of the United States toward Iran is equally clear. Since January 2025, the U.S. administration reinstated the hostile approach, including the policy of so-called maximum pressure and economic strangulation through sweeping sanctions. The General Assembly has repeatedly voted by overwhelming majorities against such unilateral coercive measures. The objective of these illegal measures has been transparent, unconditional surrender. Despite repeated warning by Iran to the Secretary General and the Council regarding serious violation of the Charter by a permanent member, the Council has regrettably failed to discharge its primary responsibility, allowing the erosion of the rule of law in favor of the rule of force. 5. Just as the Israeli regime succeeded in dragging the United States into the quagmire of war with Iran, the United States in turn is deliberately seeking to expand the scope of the conflict by exploiting spaces in the Persian Gulf region. The hostile U.S. government dream of swallowing Iran and forcing the Islamic Republic of Iran into submission will never be realized. This war, before being A contest of military equipment and advanced technologies is a battle of wills, and in that battle, the Islamic Republic of Iran will prevail. Furthermore, the Islamic Republic of Iran has repeatedly affirmed its commitment to diplomacy and negotiation. However, it will never submit to pressure, coercion, or force. Diplomacy has rules and principles. It cannot coexist with aggression. 6. The duty of Council members is to defend international law and specifically the Charter. They are not called upon to judge the political system of states, nor to determine whether military aggression or economic siege leads to freedom or domination. Expression of concerns and empty condemnation are not sufficient. The Council must act. Pursuant to Article 39 of the Charter, the Security Council must immediately determine the United States and Israeli regime have committed an act of aggression and demand the immediate cessation of its unlawful use of force, including any explicit or implicit threats against Iran, and require binding assurance of non-repetition. Affirm that the United States and Israeli regime bear full international responsibility for all materials and moral damage inflicted upon the infrastructure and facilities of the Islamic Republic of Iran and are obligated to provide full reparation. Let me conclude, Mr. President, with a simple and undeniable truth. Israel and the United States have attacked Iran. They have violated international law and the Charter of the United Nations. They must be held accountable. So long as this aggression continues, Iran will continue to exercise its inherent right of self-defense firmly, proportionately, and without hesitation until the aggression ends. The Security Council must act now and stop this act of aggression immediately. Silence is complicity in this crime. I thank you.
I thank the representative of the Islamic Republic of Iran for the statement, and I give the floor to the representative of Israel.
Mr. President, for 47 years, the Islamic regime in Iran.
This guy sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Chanting,
Arnold Schwarzenegger, listen.
Marjbar America. Mr. Iravani, do you want to translate these chants? Your leaders have been chanting it for years in public events, in your parliament. Marjbar Israel, Marjbar America. They mean death to Israel, death to America. Israeli and American flags were painted on roads so they could be trampled. Our flags were burned in public squares. This is not the anger of a radical fringe. It is state-sanctioned hatred. And while those Marjbar chants echoed, uranium was enriched, centrifuges span, missiles were built, facilities were buried deep underground. It was never just empty rhetoric. It was preparation for action. But today, alongside our ally, the United States, we act to stop it. Israel stands before you today, having acted with the United States to confront and stop an existential threat before it became irreversible. The operation targets nuclear infrastructure, ballistic missile sites, the machinery of repression that fuels terror across our region. We did not act of impulse. We did not act of aggression. We acted out of necessity because the Iranian regime left no reasonable alternative. This joint effort will continue for as long as the threat remains. We thank President Trump and acknowledge the close cooperation between Israel and the US which has brought the alliance between our countries to an all-time high in peace and in war. Let us be clear about what we are confronting. This regime has built nuclear weapons in blatant disregard of international law and UN resolutions. It has brutally murdered its own citizens and crushed dissent. It's happened now as we speak in cities in Iran. It has expanded missile arsenals and armed proxies across the region. It has openly declared its intention to erase Israel from the map. Now, as it faces consequences, it is launching missiles and drones across the region, endangering the UAE, where a Pakistani citizen, unfortunately, was killed. Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Iraq. As we speak, in the last hour, a rocket targeted the city of Tel Aviv. Civilians, they don't target military bases. Civilians struck a building in Tel Aviv. An innocent woman was killed and 21 people were injured. This is a regime that destabilizes wherever it reaches. It spreads violence outward while crushing freedom at home. It is not reacting, it is expanding. It is a machinery of radicalism that does not recognize borders. Mr. President, diplomacy was exhausted. Iran was required to stop enriching uranium, stop heavy water projects, stop developing nuclear-capable missiles, and allow full inspections. Iran did none of it. Instead, it fortified its nuclear facilities so we cannot get to them, accelerated missile production, and continued to fund terror. Since the last operation in the summer, they spent billions on the proxies. The resolutions were clear. The strategy was just as clear. Delay, delay, delay. But we will not be played. And it's simple what they were planning. They were building the means to corner us, to force an irreversible reality with our backs against the wall. That is not a future Israel will accept. No responsible nation should. This operation is guided by clear objectives: eliminate immediate threats, dismantle the nuclear program, destroy its ballistic missile production, neutralize naval threats, break the proxy network that destabilizes the region. The operation was carried out in order to protect the people of Israel within the framework of the ongoing armed conflict between Israel and Iran, in line with the UN Charter and in accordance with international law. Our forces stand ready to stop extremism armed with nuclear weapons. To the soldiers of the IDF, our boys and girls, my son, my daughter, we salute you. You stand like lions defending our people. An entire nation stands behind you. We have heard the condemnation from few member states, from the Secretary General. But we all know that escalation did not begin today. It began when Iran armed proxies and exported terror, expanded missiles and drones, advanced its nuclear program in violation of its commitments, turned on its own people, beating, imprisoning, executing. Where was the outrage of the UN? Where were the consequences? Now, Israel acts to prevent an irreversible threat, and the condemnation is immediate. This is the definition of hypocrisy. Some call this aggression. We call it necessity. We call it survival. Mr. President, history has taught us never to ignore those who openly call for our destruction. When a regime says it will destroy Israel, when it chants death to Israel, when it promises to wipe Haifa and Tel Aviv off the map, we believe it. We genuinely believe it when we see those hundreds of ballistic missiles that they are launching to Israel. We believe the threats. We do not ignore them. We do not gamble with our survival. We act. Now let me address the brave people of Iran. You are not our enemies. This operation is not directed at you. It is directed at a regime that has silenced you, imprisoned you, and invested in missiles and uranium while your economy suffers. You deserve better. It is this regime, the Basij, the Revolutionary Guard, who have dragged your country into isolation. The world does not fear a free Iran. It fears a radical regime armed with nuclear weapons and driven by extremism. Your future should not be defined by those who chant for death. As President Trump has said, the Iranian people deserve dignity, security, and the chance to shape their own destiny. We are thinking about you. You are seen. You are not alone. The future of Iran belongs to its people. We stand with you. Mr. President, this week, Jewish families all around the world celebrate Purim. Many Israelis will do so now in a bomb shelter. The story of Purim happened more than 2,500 years ago, in the same place. In ancient Persia, an evil minister by the name of Haman sought to wipe out the Jewish people. And it began with words, with chants. It became a decree. It could have become a genocide. But Queen Esther refused to remain silent. She stepped forward, she spoke up, she acted before it was too late. That is the lesson we learned. It is not only an ancient lesson, it is a modern one. Last week, I stood at the gates of Auschwitz with dozens of UN ambassadors. We stood in a place that shows what happens when radicalism and extremism grows and no one stops it in time. Before the Holocaust, some leaders, serious leaders, believed that they could calm aggression with concessions. They were completely wrong. Giving in did not stop evil. It strengthened it. Winston Churchill understood what Queen Esther understood long before him. When destruction is declared and weapons are being prepared and assembled, leaders must act. Not later, now. Today, President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu understand that same lesson. For decades, the Iranian regime has built missiles, enriched uranium, armed proxies, and spread terror far beyond its borders. This regime is not only Israel's enemy. It is an enemy of stability, an enemy of every peace-loving nation. In this joint operation, Israel and the US are acting together, not because we see conflict, because we refuse to ignore declared destruction. We are stopping extremism before it becomes unstoppable. We will ensure that no radical regime armed with nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles can threaten our people or the entire world. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you ever so much indeed,
Israel.
everyone who took part in today's events. Let's just round this up right now. We're going to go over just quickly to do a brief Discord event for everybody that's on Discord to do behind the scenes update and what we expect from the markets. Just a brief debrief in Discord. You've got the link pinned to the top. Thank you ever so much, everybody who purchased your FAFO limited edition items today. That's sold out in 5 minutes. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you. But the market is going to be volatile when it opens on Sunday night. Let's see if we can catch it. I will be trying to buy NVIDIA, and then I'll expect it to bounce. You've seen how crypto has bounced, but it's not bouncing that much. People are going, oh, it's rallying. I told you it'd be up. I gave you that White House press room contact and said it were going to be up. I said the studio would be green. It was, and here we are. But it's not booming. This is an unstable Middle East, unstable Iran. It's not great just because the Ayatollah is dead. A lot of people are celebrating on the streets, but now we have another problem. So we're not out of the woods, but it's the first step. So the market will probably open down and then pop up. I want to buy with that money I've made on my Ethereum this morning to be able to buy Ethereum, to buy more of the NVIDIA. That's what I'm looking to buy. So I will share all my trades on Discord, all of my trades on YouTube Electrum members. But that is it. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to jump now over into Discord. I'm going to give everybody here the link to Discord at the top. But here is the link to the extra channel. We're going to replay what you've missed today. Sensei's analysis as well of the market. So you're already on the extra channel. I'm just making sure it's going to go through there. Let's make sure that is set to the extra channel. Yes, it is. Let me rewind it and just check it. Okay, so I'm making it today's events. Always restream today's events. Unlike bloody Bloomberg, who play the same videos over and over again, we play today's show and we're always live. Right, so let me do that now. Okay, here we go. Just bear with me a second. Takes a second to do. Right. There you go. Okay, that's now streamed to the beginning of today's events with Sensei and so on. So if you want to go and see the extra channel of what you've missed, this is it, pinned to the top. Hello, that's not what I meant to press. That's what I meant to press. Right, there is the extra channel running right there of replaying today's events. I'm going to now just drop in on Discord for a few minutes. Thank you ever so much. Today was a wonderful day. We've hit a new all-time high for subscribers and members and Discord members. Thank you. Look at this. Where are we? Here. 112,019. Look at that. Thank you so much. We broke another target today on the way to 500,000 this year. Right. I'm now going to join you on Discord for a few minutes. I'm going to go and spend the rest of the afternoon with my wife. She's just back from a trip out and we'll be all good. So there we go. Stay right where you are. It'll take you there automatically, or you can click on the link I've just given you into the extra channel. Everybody else on Discord, let's have a quick debrief. That's it from me. Thank you very much indeed. Be safe. We look forward to hearing from Sensei in the morning. Of course, his family is involved in direct sight of everything going on today in Iran. Until next time, as always, we brought you the information. We were ahead of everybody. My information was direct from the White House. It was correct. It was spot on. And here we go. Thank you for being part of the Lucasades, and good luck to you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Do you know what? we should finish up with this. We probably should. Shouldn't we? I think we should. Till next time, take care. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled